Navy is shifting the focus of its surface and submarine fleets from defending against missile attacks to developing new weapons and tactics that prioritize hitting first and fast. We've spent a lot of time over the past years playing defense, Rear Admiral Ronald Boxall, Director of Surface Warfare, said at the West 2019 conference here, waiting for them to come to you, waiting for the missile to come, for the airplane to come. The best defense is a good offense, and the idea that we will go after the threat, at range, is something that we have to be able to do. The Admiral's comments come as the Navy, and the Pentagon, braces to meet the new challenges presented by modern Chinese surface ships, submarines, and aircraft in the Pacific, and similar, if far fewer, Russian assets in the waters around Europe and the Arctic. One of the changes in recent years is the presence of the growing Chinese fleet, which keeps a close eye on what the Americans are doing and where they're going. Every time the U.S. ship travels in the Western Pacific, we have a dance partner, said Vice Admiral John Alexander, commander of 3rd Fleet, referencing the Chinese warships and aircraft that shadow American vessels. While those encounters are generally professional, more concerning are Chinese medium to long-range missiles that can reach out to hit U.S. bases and ships in the region. Beijing is also speeding ahead with tests of hypersonic ballistic missiles, which would be difficult to track and shoot down before they hit a U.S. ship or bases in Japan, Guam, and Okinawa. Last month, a Chinese government-run newspaper made huge waves when it claimed the PLA was ready to deploy its ship-killer DF-26 intermediate-range ballistic missile, which is thought to have a range of roughly 2,400 miles. In December, Chinese Rear Admiral Liu Yuan told an audience that disputes in the South China Sea could be solved by sinking 2 U.S. aircraft carriers. Testifying before Congress, Indo-Pacific Command Chief Admiral Philip Davidson told senators that developing and fielding advanced munitions is a critical component to challenging Chinese threats. He added that he is most interested in innovations in heavyweight torpedo technology which can provide force-multiplying effects that currently do not exist, including long-range in port or at sea attack and shallow-water covert mine-laying. Boxall delivered the same message to Navy colleagues and defense industry execs, saying we need to go after offensive weapons to prevent us from being in a position where we go broke playing defense when in fact we can significantly improve our own position through an aggressive offensive posture. The Navy already expects to put the anti-ship naval strike missile aboard vessels later this year, and the submarine force is bringing the Harpoon missile back into play after more than a decade without it. Sitting alongside Boxall on the dais was commander of the Pacific Fleet's submarine force, Rear Admiral Daryl Caudle, who said he wants to extend well beyond the capabilities of the Tomahawk land attack missile being used on his subs until industry can develop a missile that can fly farther and faster than that land. Caudle's subs will start packing the Harpoon, for which Boeing is already working on a bevy of upgrades to increase precision and range. Given the ranges of Chinese missiles, we made a decision that we still needed a little more standoff capability, Caudle added, agreeing with his fellow admirals that the time to play defense was over. Among the blurry lines of the different phases of conflict, the submarine force, "We are going to be a force that seizes the initiative," he pledged. The Navy has already instituted new training methods for its submarine commanders to ensure they're more combat ready, and we have shifted underway periods to be high in combat operations. Instead of doing a lot of peacetime, shallow water, maneuvers, and ISR stuff, it's all about combat. In a first, U.S. F-35Bs dropped guided bombs on practice targets during a military exercise at sea in Asia this week. F-35B fighters, the U.S. Marine Corps short takeoff and vertical landing variant of the supersonic fifth-generation F-35B Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter, conducted bomb drops from the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship USS Wasp, LHD-1, in the Philippine and East China Seas this week, according to a statement by the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. The aircraft, armed with Cat-9X air-to-air missiles, dropped laser-guided bomb units, GBU-12 Pavewayes and satellite-guided GBU-32s. The GBU-12 and GBU-32 are general-purpose bombs weighing 510 pounds, 230 kilograms, and 1,013 pounds, 460 kilograms, respectively. We conducted these missions by launching from the USS Wasp, engaging role-player adversary aircraft, striking simulated targets with internally and externally mounted precision-guided munitions, returning to the Wasp, and recovering via a vertical landing, a niche capability of the F-35B, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Roundtree, the F-35B detachment officer in charge aboard the USS Wasp. This was the first time that this level of training has been performed by an operationally deployed F-35B detachment with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. The F-35B conducted its first close air support strike in Afghanistan last September, dropping a GBU-32, Joint Direct Attack Munition, JDAM, weapon fitted on an external weapon pod of the fighter. The F-35B took off from the Wasp-class amphibious assault ship USS Essex cruising in the Arabian Sea. Notably, the unit price for the F-35B recently went down. According to Lockheed Martin, Japan is expected to procure dozens of F-35Bs in the coming years. The USS Wasp is the size of a small aircraft carrier and can carry around 31 military aircraft, including the Avenue 8B Harrier-RIS, MH-60S Nighthawk helicopters, AH-1Z Viper helicopters, and MV-22 Osprey tiltrotor aircraft. In 2017, the Wasp was retrofitted to be able to accommodate 6 F-35Bs. The amphibious assault ship and its escort and support vessels conducted a cooperative deployment with the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force Amphibious Transport Dock JS Kunizaki in the East China Sea in January. The exercise was meant to test the ability of both ships to maneuver and communicate with one another. The USS Wasp Expeditionary Strike Group, ESG, arrived at the naval port of Sasebo, Japan, in January 2018, replacing its sister ship USS Bonhomme Richard as the biggest forward-deployed amphibious assault ship in the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, the lead ship of the U.S. Navy's newest class of amphibious assault ships, the 45,000-ton USS America, designated Landing Helicopter Assault, LHA-6, will deploy to Japan by May 2019 to replace the USS Wasp. The USS America can reportedly carry up to 9 F-35Bs.